time to see which teams are going to be stepping up and popping off here in this season. But before we go to game number 1 between Degenerates Reformed and No Fear Wolves, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back west. I'm joined for the pre-show, my partner in crime, Gunjan. How are you feeling tonight, my man?
I'm doing great, and I don't know if there's enough room in mid-league for both of us, brother, but I think we'd have to make do with that.
You better square up, son, because it's about to get real serious. We got our first criminal. We got our first returning player to deal with. Rutledge, the man, the myth, the legend, the top laner for CB Rush now this season. He's going to be coming back with the Fury, Gunjan. Let me tell you. Let me give you the breakdown, all right? He is all on board. He's already booked his ticket, booked the flight to the All-Pro First Team vacation at the end of the season, all right? He's got everything lined up. He's got his attire ready, the suit and tie ready to go for the big day. He's feeling confident, Gunjan, and I know you talked with CB Rush as well a little bit, I think Rutledge specifically, actually. So before I get into my whole spiel, I'm curious what you think about CB Rush a little bit coming into this season.
I mean, they're bringing back the nucleus that was the Meme City roster, and we didn't get to see them in playoffs, sadly, due to some unforeseen circumstances, but the top side is back. And the top side was really what kind of made that team work, because it has Rutledge, it had our MVP of the league in spring, Acid, and we had Frosty, who was also an all-pro, I believe, 13 mid laner. So it has that core back, and if they can add even a little bit more, maybe consistency or some kind of differentiating playstyles where they can kind of add a much, again, I'm not saying that their bot lane wasn't strong, but maybe a little bit more carry threat down there. I think that this team can be a lot more dynamic and be just as dominant as Meme City Rush was.
And let me tell you, Nelson has been a part of kind of the Rutledge trio kind of situation that we have with Frosty in the mid lane as well as Acid. So I'm kind of feeling confident that these guys are early favorites. There's a reason the reward is so high on these guys' head. I'm sure they're feeling confident. I know Rutledge is motivated for some redemption this season, doesn't want things to end out how they did previously. And they were the number 1 seed for good reason. Dominant, and not only that, in close games, even when they fell behind, even when things weren't going their way, they always seemed to make the right shot call, to make the right play, to turn around team fights, to take objectives in fights they probably had no business taking and pop off. But Rutledge is not the only man wanted in Excellency Mid-League right now. We have some other returning stars that we wanted to highlight. Next up on the docket, JDK coming in for Divine Ascension Obsidian.
Let me lay down who JDK is. This guy is a master of all and a master of none. This is words that he said himself. This guy is lane swap from top, jungle, mid, light league, mid league, maybe heavy league, maybe pinnacle league. This guy can do it all. He's been born to fill. If autofill was a person, that would be pretty much JDK. He's bringing up the Divine Ascension roster from light league into the mid league. He's adding a sub, and now he's going to fill into that bot lane role. You know what they say, ADKs, you just right click, and JDK said, I can do that just fine. He's excited. They didn't have the greatest run. Obviously, the Divine Ascension Ruby roster was able to make the 5th seed last split, but they just weren't able to kind of get that cohesion. That was something that he talked to me about. He said that the roster wasn't that stable, and now with this roster, a lot more stable. A lot of guys enjoy playing with each other, and the ceiling for growth, especially now that they've added a new coach, is kind of into that top 3, top 4 echelon that they really want to break into. I asked him, what is your role in the team? JDK, what do you do for this team? And he said he's the rock. He's the rock. He's what is going to kind of be that foundational piece to let everybody succeed in this team. He said that this guy is going to be the consistent player. You want to play the Seraphine bot lane? Yes, sir. You want to play the Swain bot lane? Yes, sir. You want to play a hyper carry? You want Draven? He can do it all. He was telling about some of his champion pool, and again, he likes to play some more aggressive ADKs. You'd think as a person filling into that role, he would kind of be like, let me just play Jinx. Let me just play let me play some of that stuff. No, this guy said Samira. He he said Tristana, he said Kaisa. He's getting in there. He's going to play aggressively. And his goal this season is going to be to break into that top 3 AD carry. He wants to be all pro. He wants his team to be in that playoff sitting and make sure that his teammates as well are in that top pro. I asked him, though. Again, we have so much AD carry talent coming in, we'll cover that. But I said, what you're filling in, this is your first time kind of playing this role. How do you feel? JDK gave me one of the spiciest answers. He said, it's going to be really sad when a autofill AD carry beats you, isn't it? It's going to be really sad and feel really bad when you lose to an autofilled player. What do you do? I think it almost auto tilts you at that point. So JDK, returning player, and I'm excited to see what his new role on this team is, because I think that Divine Ascension Obsidian can really make it far this split.
And we're not only dealing with JDK, a familiar face that's going to be trying to adapt into a new team. Our next player coming right up, the one and only Zongi Gunjin, is going to be looking to make some noise. And let me tell you, this isn't going to be a dark horse story. This is going to be a Titan story for Zongi. His redemption season, I feel it coming. I tell you what, the meta maybe going to be going his way. He's hoping to play Rek'Sai and Kha'Zix, which I know outside of the Morgana OP territory, but he's going to be looking to make plays. When I talked to him, he was saying that the team feels really comfortable about playing around the jungle, something that we were kind of thinking last season we didn't see a whole lot from Zongi's team while he was popping off, going toe-to-toe with some of the top dogs. It was kind of the difficulty with trying to bring everyone along for the ride, fit everyone in the backpack. Well, now he's on the Fever squad. He's feeling it. He's feeling the heat, and he's excited. I talked with how he actually got on this team. What was the origin story for this dynamic player? Well, funny enough, he's been playing against these guys for about 5 months or so, and it all started in banter. It all started with Zongi calling him bad, talking a little bit. We'll have to see if that comes up a little bit in the mid-league server. But nevertheless, he's made friends with the enemy. He's coming back for redemption, coming back. He wants to absolutely stomp this league. He thinks Fever can go toe-to-toe with CB Rush, Gunjin, and I'm really excited to see how they do this split. One of the new teams, maybe, but a familiar face to really lead them through this. They've popped off in focus. They've gone toe-to-toe against the likes of CB Rush in other leagues. We'll have to see if they can step up here in mid-league.
No, the Fever roster, I think, has been kind of name dropped by a lot of these teams. I'm excited for this roster. And again, last split, you mentioned it. I felt like Zongi was kind of going toe-to-toe with these junglers that we talked about. The Acids of the league, the Fallen Artemis is the league, where I'm like, Zongi is really playing his game, but it felt like his roster just wasn't there. And now with this new roster, it feels like they're kind of revitalized, they're amped up, and they're ready for this split.
Well, I do have... We're dealing with new rosters. I've got a little special surprise queued up for you, Gunjin. I think you're going to like it. We may have some new faces, but we have got some old stalwarts as well. And the No Fear Wolves are coming right back into the Excellency Mid-League, hoping to pop off once again with your main man, Epic Fail Guy, still in the ADC role. But there's some interesting shenanigans going on all over the place on the rest of the map.
Yeah, they've been doing swaps left and right. They're kind of getting ready for this flex pick swap meta that we're going to see in the jungle. And they just preempted it and say, let's just slow all of our laners all around the place. Now with Skiz in the top lane, Peekaboo in the jungle, and cute Raichu filling in that mid lane. And also they have made a new addition with Jushbox in that bot lane to fill in with Epic Fail Guy. Obviously fits. Great support, kind of had that stalwart bot lane, but now they want to add a little bit more aggression. That was one of the big things I talked about. I said, is this the salty run back? Is this just, guys, we didn't have enough weeks to put it together. Let's try to put it together. And they said, no. They said, we had the talent, we had everything. We just kind of had some outside of game issues that kind of led to us not being able to make the run. But now with the addition of Jushbox, they said they have added some great communication, just a breath of fresh air into the communication between their bot lane, their overall team, and also that jungle support synergy that we all talk about all the time. I'm excited because what Epic Fail Guys told me is they're going to add aggression into the bot lane. This is what a lot of AD carries are talking about, but Epic Fail Guy, for us, was the stalwart AD carry. Get him to 30 minutes, get him to 300 CS, he's going to carry you for this team fight. He said, no, get me to 10 minutes, and I'm going to carry these team fights for you. Those early game dragon fights, that's what he's going to be for, and that's what Jushbox is going to be there. He did mention, just like every AD carry in this meta, he has been kind of put into those flex picks, so we may see the Seraphine bot lane. He might have to fill in, but the hope is that Epic Fail Guy carries the torch for those AD carries. And again, he was All-Pro second team last season, and he wants to go for that All-Pro first team. He said Kiba and Beastlance are out. Competition is completely gone. That is what he said. He said there's no one else that can compete, and I want to make All-Pro first team. I want to make the playoffs. I want to be a top 3 seed. That is the goal for Epic. That's the goal for the entire team, and they run through that bot lane. And I'm excited because it's not just a salty run back. They have the breath of fresh air. Yep. They're going to try to make it a competition between them and CB Rush, that other nucleus that's coming back.
I think it's important to kind of mention the other key players that are going to be on the No Fear Wolves squad. You've got Cute Raichu moving down from the top lane. He's going to be slotted in the mid lane. Skiz sent up to the top lane island. We'll see what he's able to do up there against the likes of Rutledge and the other top laners here in the mid league. And Peekaboo finally making his way back to the jungle where he started off last season. We'll have to see if he stays there throughout the course of Season 3. We've got some old faces. Me and Gunjun really wanted to bring you guys, catch you all back up to where we last left off in the Season 2 of Mid League. But not only are there new players, but we've got some new casters coming up for you as well. It's time to look at the rising stars for the Mid League in Season 3. Take it away, Icarus and Cam.
Welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen. Junglers are no more. They're only referred to as secondary supports, and the new supports are referred to as the mid lane roamers. AD carries have taken over the entirety of the meta, and the only thing that matters here is that we have new players for you at home to try and support, getting off, starting right off the bat. We have so many exciting AD carries. My name is Icarus. I'm joined on the desk by Camcom. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic today. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to bring you guys some of these exciting AD carries to watch, though. Starting it off, Death Cards Academy has their Galaxy player coming in as their main star player. He's an AD carry player, and we haven't seen a whole lot from this team just quite yet. And so before we figure out what to expect from them as a whole, we did get a chance to sit down and talk with him and ask him, what are you looking to get out of the season so far? And he said for himself, he's really looking forward to playing some scaling AD carries and being the backbone that his team needs, getting priority on dragons and allowing for his team to play around the bottom side of the map with scaling picks. So that's some pretty big words coming in from the AD carry.
Yeah, so for another AD carry, we have Jerry Blue from Nine-Tailed Fox Onyx. He is one of our many AD carry players that we are featuring today. He is another Jinx and Lucian player, some very popular picks today, both Lucian flexing mid as well. He is a very hyper carry player. He likes to farm, but he likes for his support to be able to roam a lot so that he gets an early level lead. He likes to play for the late game. He likes to feel that AD carry power that you can have where you right click someone and they just blow up. But the problem is that they can also right-click you and you can also blow up, unfortunately.
That is the nature of AD carries. We do have so many popular talents coming into the future, though, ladies and gentlemen. I can't ruin the future for you. You just have to try and watch for yourself. And we have so many games coming up this season. It's going to be up to you guys to see the future. We're in the year 2023, so some of the names, hopefully, you guys will be able to see on the pro stage in the future. But with that being said, for this team of Alventus, we do have a bot lane duo coming in as their star players, and particular, another AD carry, Balthazar. He doesn't like to play so much the carry for his roles. He likes to say that he plays the shot caller and really is there to support his team and make sure that his team is getting everything they need to do, everything they need to focus on in order to win the game, that he's making sure that they're prioritized on the correct objectives and that they're playing around where they need to be on the map.
And of course, for an amazing AD carry, you need to match with an amazing support, Better Chemicals, one of our fantastic Bard players. Bard is a fantastic champion that should be picked every game. Better Chemicals likes to play for his team. He likes to roam. He likes to get vision. He likes to do whatever it takes to win the game as fast and as quickly and as cleanly as possible as he can for his team.
Shot callers are always going to be the most important roles in the future as well. And coming in for the team of Bucky Stratosphere, Ray making a return to mid-league here. Maybe not so much a rising star as he is someone trying to reclaim his once popular title here. He is going to be coming as the star jungler for Bucky Stratosphere. He's playing some hyper carries in the jungle. In the future, there's not so many tanks being played. Hecarim has been gutted, has been sent to the glue factory recently, and in the future, he's not back either. So Bucky or Array is hoping in order to bring out some leads for Bucky Stratosphere here by playing through his hyper aggressive jungle pattern and making sure that he's there to support his team whenever they need him to be there.
Yes, and then for another one of our fantastic AD carry mains, we do have Fox Zero from Degenerates Reformed. He is another Vayne Kog'Maw Caitlyn player, so another very late game, hyperscaly kind of player. He likes to play as consistently as possible to get as many of those wins for his team as he can.
And the last player we got to talk about here is going to be from the side of Shadow Blade Slash. It is going to be Cornbread, another AD carry player. I cannot emphasize enough for you guys that we need to be looking towards this bottom lane throughout all these series that we are watching here on Excellency Mid League. He is a Samira Jinx player, which means he's trying to play some very aggressive, some very fast forward moving champions. And when we're looking towards the future of Pro League of Legends, we're looking towards the future of what these teams want to be doing for themselves. They need to be playing hyper aggressive. They need to be finding leads and being able to run away with them. And I'm so excited to see how these AD carries are going to be able to try and push their advantages in the bottom lane. So many looking upcoming talents and so many AD carries looking to take the name for themselves that Kaiba has left. These rising stars are hoping to make the best name for themselves here. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to throw it over to a quick delay as we get set up for game one here. We're going to have an interview with Peekaboo made by none other than Gungeon himself, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Bias here from me, but besides the fact, you guys are also pretty much the only returning team that has the entire roster coming back in. But is there any sort of change in who you guys think is the carry player for you guys? What is the game plan for you guys, and how is the shot calling also changed? Has it changed now with your new support player?
I think we all are points in now that we can carry from anywhere we really want. I think it's just getting the team fights for us, and that's something I've learned. Once we get the team fights, we all can carry pretty well, but we just got to get there. But then shot calling, it's mostly just me and the support working together there to do a lot of the early game shot calling. And then once we get to late game, most of the time it's up to Epic, because Epic's usually our carry. So we ask them, do you think you're at a point where you can fight or no? Do you have your items you need for us to win a fight? If not, let's not do this fight kind of thing.
In terms of just how you guys played it out last season, I think you guys were very close to kind of putting it together and making the run. It just felt like you guys didn't have the growth that I saw in you guys. I think was great last season. I'm excited to see it again. In terms of your roster, obviously you guys are bringing back the same four for top, mid, jungle, AD, but you guys are adding a new support with Jush Box. Tell me about that acquisition, kind of who he is, what he does that is different for you guys, and what you hope to kind of accomplish with this new roster and this new player.
Yeah. So he's, if I'm believing right, he's one of Epic's friends who we picked up because Fitz just got a lot more busy with school and with his job. Which we're thinking we're gonna bring Fitz back as a sub, and maybe do a 50-50 rotation in the support.
Mm-hmm.
But he's come in he's been a real leader. And he's had to expand his pool a lot more, which he's definitely adapted and had to do that, and just worked well with the team in that sense. But those two work really well from bottom. I don't know if they played in another team before this, but they definitely have that chemistry, and they've been putting the time in playing together to get better for this next week here to start out strong.
The meta, because we want to talk about it. Obviously, during spring, a lot of it was dominated by Udyr, Hecarim, Seraphine, a lot of these big, just bruising junglers with supportive mid and top, and then the meta was slowly transitioning into the hyper carry meta, and it feels like now we're kind of in that state where obviously pro play is stopped for another week, so not everyone knows what they want to prioritize or what they feel is strong. What do you guys feel is strong in the meta? What are you guys working on?
The normal stuff is pretty much flex picks, because now in the jungle you can have like 50 flex picks. It feels like anyone can jungle at this point now. With Morgana being a jungler now and all that, so we've been working a lot of like Morgana jungle, Diana, and a few others that we can just flex around, and it's put a lot of pressure on me. Definitely, I have to learn a lot of weird jungles, but definitely we've been working on trying to get as many flex picks as we can, to try and give us a better advantage in the drafting process here.
In terms of like overall team comp and what your focus is on, especially in the early or mid game, is there any sort of can you kind of open up the playbook on that? Like, what are you guys looking forward to like playing around, especially in terms of lane matchups, maybe around like early dragon stacking? Like, what are you guys looking at in terms of your focus, especially in the early and mid game?
We definitely are an objective focused team. And so I'm someone that really likes to go for those early objectives, and sometimes I pay for it with my life, trying to sneak a play or something. But we just try and prioritize some early strengths in 2 of our lanes, and then let our 3rd lane be a scaling of some sort. But really having 2 strong lanes for me to be able to play off.
Last question. Are there any teams you guys are excited to play? And is there anything you want to say to the other teams in terms of spicy banter or anything like that? I do want to say a little bit of a spoilers. You were mentioned by CB Rush, the MCE roster. They said, pretty much kind of going down what they said, or like shrinking it down. They said, hopefully there's more than just one other team that can give us a run for our money, but we are looking forward to playing against No Fear Wolves. Besides that, pretty much no one else. So is there anyone you're looking forward to playing against?
I mean, we're looking forward to playing against them too. I'm definitely looking forward to playing against Acid. I definitely was not at the top of my game when we got into the first time, and then I wasn't the jungler second time. So I'm looking for a little bit of revenge tour here in a sense, personally. And I know all of us are. We got a taste of the league this last time, and we're not okay finishing even close to what we did this last time. It's first or second for us, and everyone just needs to get out of the way and let us do that.
So I'm excited to see you guys in week 1. I was a big fan in spring, and I'm going to be even a bigger fan in summer. I'm excited to have all of you guys on the all-pro team like you guys said you would be. But
that's the goal. All of us on first team.
All of them on first team, and you guys got to look out for these guys. Thank you so much, Peekaboo, for this interview, and expect more long-form interviews and more deep dives as you guys kind of continue throughout this summer season, and as you guys start making that run towards that 1st and 2nd seed.